Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Agent is In. This is episode 63. Some interesting things that I learned about the number 63. It's the ASCII code for the question mark. It's binary written 111111, and the atomic number of europium, which I didn't know was a thing. So, yeah, some fun things. It's also the country code for the Philippines. But instead of talking about any of those things today, we're going to talk a little bit about some stuff that was in 328. We released that recently. So we have some container inventory that Craig had kind of talked about some plumbing for a few weeks back. Craig, you want to show us the other end of that plumbing?
Yes, I do want to show that. I will share my screen. So previously we had shown how we could collect some information, but now we have collected it and we have added it to our inventory in the hub and the UI in the mission portal. So here I have a host called Libre. Uh, it has one container running, many, about 10 containers running or paused or stopped. You can see, 5 weeks ago, that kind of thing. Oops, I just drew on the screen. That's kind of weird. And I also have Podman running here. So we got a couple of things there. Podman images, Docker images. There's a lot of information here for us to look at. And now we don't have to go to the host to see it. We can click on the containers tab. You can see that there's one running container. That's kind of important. There's a summary up here. So there's 35 images in total with the size and some volumes. And then it says which container engines are running. And then we can look at this table of information. You can see that this one has been up for 9 hours. That one's still up. And then the rest of them have exited. It tells you the basic information that you see in a Docker PS statement, but in a table. Of course, we can sort this so that we can figure out, who's up and who's down. And then we also have images. You notice also that there's an engine field over here, so it's all kind of mixed together so you can get a full picture of what's going on in the host. One of the things that I was doing, and you can do this in a more efficient way, but sometimes I like to be less efficient because it makes me more thoughtful. So this image, actually, I kind of need that one. This one, though, I don't need. We don't have any hooks to get into doing this kind of stuff. Oh, let's see, hold on. So that's, what did I say? That's a Docker image. Okay, so I'm gonna Docker RMI, and then that, unable to delete. Oh, sure. Okay, so Docker stop. Fief. That's a great name, by the way. Fief. Uh, Move that one and then go back to RMI. Oh goodness, look at that. All these wonderful containers running with this image. Takes a second. Okay. All right, cool. Deleted it. And then that was this CFEngine builder 14F. So I can go back here and click the play button. And then it'll trigger an agent run and collect reports. And you see here it says last updated 2 minutes ago. Pretty soon it's going to refresh and it's going to say something different. There
Hey,
it
it does
is.
3 minutes ago. Oh, a minute
What?
ago.
A minute
Well, it
ago.
did. It
Yeah, I
said three
guess
minutes ago briefly.
I know. Well, that's because it was 3 minutes at that moment. So now you see let's see. I did not quite get that going.
It's that GHCR, that one there, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Let's it's gone. Okay. So, oh, let's make sure that CFEngine is kind of running properly here. It is. Okay. Cool. Well, demos are what they are. I guess I better press the play button again.
It might be, well, no, this is where is it collecting this information in the agent? I mean, this is not driven by inventory policy. This is
Right.
embedded in the agent, right?
Yeah. So it runs kind of during the agent run, during the point at which it collects
Initialization.
together reports. It
Oh,
runs to the point where it collects together reports. Yeah.
okay, so
Uh,
at the end of the agent run.
yes. We'll just reload this page and see what's going on. I did this like 20 times yesterday, so it totally works.
Okay. Magic of
Trust
post.
me. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's the see, now that's strange. This is 3 minutes ago. Uh, yeah, just do that. I don't know. Interesting. I suppose it could be
I bet it was
possibly.
cached. When you hit play, it's not gonna. Well, no, that's not a promise.
No, it,
Okay.
it it totally works. Like I don't know what's going on. It's I can chalk it up to using an unsupported operating system.
Termux,
No, Alpine.
Alpine. Okay.
Yeah. So um,
Okay.
that just happens to be what my laptop is. So that's what I ran. Uh, anyway, but let's try some other tricks. See if some other tricks work better. Let's just that's a Docker. So I think I can say Docker pause. I think I may have seen there's a problem there. So oh, it's not running. Madness is just coming in like crazy
Says
here.
exited. No, created. Okay.
Oh wait, okay, right.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right.
running.
Okay, so I need to find the one that was running. This one. Okay. Doo-doo. I think I can pause it if I can type. Yay, paused.
There we go.
All right. So let's hit play. I think there might be a problem that's going to break this no matter what.
Oh,
Oh dear. It's all
execution
falling
timeout.
apart now. Regardless, you can see that there are things here and
Can we filter against the container information from other reports yet? Or are we just displaying here? Like, can we query against it for other reporting stuff?
not yet. No.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. So
All right.
you can demo your thing now.
Okay.
Unless there's questions directly we can answer.
Yeah. No. Looking nice. It's nice to have that information there.
Of course, our
Yes, but
recommendation is to use a supported operating system.
yeah. Live demos, how it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Let me
Okay.
share my screen. I'll go to the other end of the spectrum. All right. I'm back.
Yeah,
Can
we
you
can
see
see your
my
screen.
screen now?
Yes,
Great.
your screen is
Okay.
amazing.
Yes. All right. So I've got 328 installed right here, and I just wanted to show off a couple of lower level things, where I like to kind of hang out. Let's see here. Let's see. There's get users and get groups functions. Let me see. I've got some notes over here. Like that. Oops, there we go. Okay. So this is how get users works. You have historically always had to give it two parameters, or else it won't work. Let's see here. I don't need to do this with root. Let's see. So put these two empty ones in here. Oops. Uh, All right. Right. So we get it to output. We had 26 users on this system, which is great. But now you don't have to do that. You can just call get users without any options. So this is nice. This should give us the same thing. 3.28 plus. There we go. So nice little convenience there that you don't have to pass. Like if you're just trying to grab all users, you don't have to pass the empty parameters. And if you're only filtering by username, you don't have to supply um, a parameter for ID as well. Um, so that same behavior applies to get groups. So let's see here. That There we go. So get groups also bear without um, parameters. Let's see here. What else was on the low level that I was looking at? So there's those. And then our friends at Normation had sent us a patch. And we have, let's see here, a little fix to expand range. So we do, this is S list, expand range. It used to be that you'd get a syntax error if you had just one element that you were returning from the range. All right, we can step this by 3 even, right? So the only thing that's possible to come out of this is 1, but before it would error. Now this should just work. Let's see here. Posts. There we go. Post 1. So that's a nice little contribution from Normation. Appreciate that. And then here's a good one. This is probably the better ones. Starting in 328. Well, maybe we should talk about before 328 first. Prior to 328, if you wanted to undefine a class that was defined during this agent run, you could do so, but you could only do so as the result of another promise outcome. So, for example, you do something like, let's see here, classes, my class, expression, any, right? So we're going to define my class all of the time. And then let's say that I want to undefine it. So I need another promise, like something like this, like, oh, let's just run true. Classes if, okay, cancel. That is in the standard library. So my class, okay, cancel class. I think that's it. Ports. And then we do like, all right, let's see here. Oh, right-hand side mismatch. If main promise belongs to line 16. Been true. Classes. Probably this thing is not defined. Promise prepared, promise kept. All right, so we need to do if okay, body classes, if okay, cancel X. And then we got promise repaired. Or promise kept. So if either one of those outcomes happen, then we'll try to cancel this class that we've got defined. So let's see here. All right. And if we run this verbosely, let's see here. Kept, defined, true succeeded. Oh, that's got to be in a different bundle, I guess. Well, and this is the point. It's a pain in the butt to undefined classes this way. You have to trigger something else, and then it's kind of a byproduct of that you can cancel the class. So 328 introduces a new attribute to classes promises. So we can do that, and then we can do my class. Oops. Cancel. True. So now you can just name your class and then specify that you want it to be canceled. So do that. We should see here. There it is. Class canceled. So it gets defined and then canceled. That makes that very convenient to actually use higher level without stuffing stuff underneath. And then also related to classes, and in particular canceling classes, there is another new attribute in 328, which is timer policy. Right, so expression, and then we got persistence. We can have it be like 120, and then timer policy reset.
Good typo there. Persistence.
ERSIS.
There you go.
All right, let's see here. Okay, so great. That's doing so resetting the class timer. All right, so if I come in here and what is it, reset or absolute. Let me change this to absolute. See my expression, any persistence. Oh, this reset. Okay. So what this does, all right, I think we're missing something there. What happens is when you have a persistent class, the first time that the promise runs, that class is going to be defined, and then that class is going to persist for some period of time. And you want one of kind of two things, right? The next time the policy runs, do you want that class to that timer to be reset so that it restarts your countdown timer, right? If you were checking the condition based on some other environment constraints, something, so you were not checking it all of the time, you might want to make sure that persistent class drains that entire time before it's allowed to be reset and then extended. And that is what a reset will do. So you can see here that each time that it's running, right, it was 118 minutes and now it's reset it back to 120. So each time that promise is in context, it'll just reset that timer. And you can change that to absolute, and then it will not reset the timer. It will just continue to count down until it has finished the time, and then it will allow it to redefine that class. So this is a good one to be aware of if you're using persistent classes, because the behavior of this is changing. The default behavior of that is changing to reset. So in 328, that default is to reset that timer. Previously, if you had a persistent class that you were defining, you didn't have the timer policy attribute, right? This is not available in versions prior to 328. We did backport this to 327 and 324, but we didn't backport the default change. So before, you could set the persistent class, but you couldn't control how the timer policy was being set when you were using a class's promise like this. You could control it if you were using a class's body. So as the result of another promise, you could make that choice to extend or reset, but you couldn't just up on the class's promise level. So this changes the default behavior going forward to reset, and then you can optionally choose that absolute timer if you really do want to say, don't extend this time, let the time run out, and then we can reevaluate it later. So those were the low-level things that I wanted to kind of share from 328 and above. Anybody have any questions? No?
Looks cool, Nick.
I think it's neat that you found a way to cancel classes that easily.
Yeah, it's nice. It was always frustrating before, I think, to cancel classes. There's several bodies, there's several things in the standard library, events, and there's all kinds of different policy things that, or several anyway, that do use that feature to cancel classes. But it has been very buried and kind of not easy to see. So I'm pretty excited about bringing this kind of up to the surface.
Well, from the theory, variables are immutable in CFEngine, right?
No.
No. Okay.
No. In fact, right, if you do name, string, Nick, and you do the same thing, Martin, and then we do reports, name, Martin.
Yeah. Last one wins.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
okay.
I think though what you are remembering older behavior.
Yeah, okay.
Much older behavior.
Okay, well that's a discussion we should have with Mark Burgess, of course.
Yeah, I think it was prior to 3.5 when variables defaulted to immutable, and you couldn't redefine them once they were defined. And then after 3.5, I think that was broken. I think, or maybe it was even earlier than that. It was broken, and I think
it was at least 3.7 or 3.10.
What about 3.7 or 3.10?
Well, it appears to be that didn't happen in 3.7.
I think that this is exactly the same behavior in 3.7.
Okay.
If you do this, but like I said, older, like even older versions, but quite older, you would have had to have done. Is it policy free? Something like that. I have to double check in the docs. But you used to have to, like a long time ago, you used to have to specify if a variable was able to be redefined later in the policy. But then that behavior broke or changed and stayed that way for a long time. And now it's not possible. You can't currently you can't just say that it is immutable, right? You can't say that the variable value can't change. You can protect against it.
Okay, but then again, what could you say about desired state? Because as far as I know, in CFEngine, you only have one desired state, right?
I mean, it depends on the context, right? Right, your active context. I mean, what is the value of name here, right? Like, we made two statements about what the value of name should be.
Yeah.
And neither has
no, but what you did here was you did it in one policy, and then it's typically Unix then take the last value for the variable, right? But suppose you would have another policy, and then you cannot change the value in another policy. Wow. Suppose you have a common bundle.
Well, you can't. Well, you can use bundles, right?
Yeah.
And you could call a bundle with a parameter, and you could set a variable's value in that bundle, and then you could call that bundle again with a different parameter value, and then it could set a different value that's held in that bundle, because not all bundles, they're not functions, right? They hold some state between evaluation.
Yeah, bundles are not functions. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you could do something like bundle agent example, right? And we could do like name, and then like bars. You can say like names, name. Actually, let's see here. We could let's just do it like this. Name, string, right? And then up here, if we do methods, we do example, use bundle example, Nick, and then Martin. Show evaluated bars. Right? So I called that bundle twice, and the way that policy was written, it stored the value that I sent it in separate variables, and those variables still exist, right? And if I were to change that, right, do something like singular, right? Now, singular, when I report those values, should match with the last one that was, called. So call the bundle the first time, it sets singular and Nick to Nick. And then call it the second time, and it sets Martin to Martin and singular to Martin. That makes sense?
Yeah, I'll study it.
Make sense? Or questions?
Oh, thank you for the example.
Yeah. Were you struggling with something around that?
Well, I've always been playing with variables and bundles, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, a bundle is not a function. And it sometimes delivers you a struggle. Because in real life, you like functions.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You can, bundles love to be abused. They have all kinds of features that do allow you to abuse them and treat them like functions. You're familiar with return value index? Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
You didn't sound sure.
Well, I'm thinking about an example in my own settings.
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
Okay. Let me pull up the docs here. Because this is another one that is, I feel like, little known, perhaps. Bundle return value index. Okay, so reports.
No, I never used.
You've never used this one. That doesn't surprise me. It's nice to know about because it allows you to, treat bundles as functions. So bundle return value index is an attribute that you can attach to a report's promise.
Yeah.
And
when was it introduced, this one? 3.4?
3.4. Yeah, it's been there for a long time. Right. So whatever whatever you're promising to report, the promiser is the value that you are going to return to the calling bundle.
Yeah.
And then the return value index is basically the key, right? So when you call a bundle and you want that bundle to return information to you, then you say use result, and then you name the array that it's going to be defining, right? So return index 1, return index 2, right? It's just like accessing any other associative array. These don't have to be numbers, right? They can be strings. You can have color and Bob or name, right? So that your variable reads nicely. But then this bundle runs and it just returns that information, and then it's stored in this other variable that you can report it on. In fact, here, I can just grab this and we can run it. Child. Okay, so right. Was return values. Right, so then if I, so we ran that, right? And then we can see here that the return values bundle has my return var key 1. This is the return value, right? So return value. So this is the bundle where that variable is defined, referencing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can use this attribute bundle return value index only in the reports promise type or whatever.
Right. It is an attribute of reports promises.
I've always thought this is super awkward. There should be just a way to return a data container.
Yeah. It is awkward, little known, but it's there, so you can use it. And yeah, it would be nice to be able to return a data container, but if you were going to do that, you would have to prepare the whole thing You need to make sure the whole thing is prepared. This has the other advantage of acting like the Associative Arrays Act, right? How they can be kind of defined independently and have different values under different contexts.
But there may have been reasoning behind it why it's the case, because it's annoying that you cannot return containers, for instance. But there may be a reason behind it why it's not so.
Why you can't? I mean, the very first reason.
Ted and Mark had a discussion or two about it. That's what I would say.
I mean, I think the very first reason for why it doesn't return a data container is because of its age. It was
because of that.
Its age, right? So this bundle return value index is ancient, right? 3.4, and data containers were introduced in 3.7. So I think that's probably the very first reason as to why this functionality doesn't support data containers, because it predates it. And it's not often used. I don't see it frequently. I've used it in some policies, and it's been super convenient at times. Any other questions?
It was useful. Thank you.
Yeah. Remember to hang out after the show for off the record chat, and join us next time for episode 64. Thanks.